was a bit premature doing it now. I mean, can't say I'm ready to think about it, but they always say it's never too soon. Don't really know where to start, and I feel I'm only sort of halfway through at the moment. Still, they said you ought to do it now to stop the thieving government stealing their share through the tax system. So you'll be saving most of it for those you leave behind. Yes, I suppose it is worth making the will now. It certainly helped when our parents did it for us. I mean, you'd hope these things would be easy. When I go, all of my things go to my wife, and when we both go, they'll go on to the children. That's the way it should be. Things pass down the line. You hear in films how members of the family are cut out of their inheritance and everything is passed on to some surprise offspring. Alternatively, as depicted in Dickens, where everyone in the extended family, no matter how distant, feels that they have a claim on the estate and it ends up at a big barney over who gets what. Is that done for dramatic effect, or do these things really happen? As far as I'm concerned, our one will be straightforward. Whatever we have will go to the children to help them get a start. It's our final gift to them. So, house, contents, furniture, car, and all will go to the kids. I mean, how detailed do you have to be? Do I have to list every item? Might be quite a lengthy list. Maybe they want all of the things too. What if they've got duplicates of things? Now that they're away at college, they need an extra toaster, a kettle, and an iron. Is it worth offering them to someone else who might want them instead? I suppose you'd have to think about how you'd feel if, on reading the will, that's what you've got. And to James, I bequeath this Tefal iron. I mean, I'd have to list the things as I have them now. What if the iron was past its best by that point? James would feel he'd have to accept it, but now he's got an iron, perhaps 20 years old, that no longer worked. What if I'd thrown it away by then? Would he have to search in the tip to try and retrieve it? Am I having to keep this up to date? If, say, I got a Moulanex a few years later? What if irons by that time, the time I've gone, are old technology? There might be an app on your phone that means you can control a big hot press to make all your clothes flat. It might be old technology that James will no longer have a need for. I mean, it should be okay with these sets of pans, as they say they have a lifetime guarantee. But what if that means it's only valid for our lifetime? What happens at the time of our passing? Is the technology that advanced that it knows? You know, the day after our funeral, will the non-stick come off the pans when we leave them behind, and they'll end up burning everything when they use them because the pan's original owners are no more. It's more complicated than I thought. It's a bit of a minefield. It says here you have to list any other assets apart from the house. How much money we'll be leaving too. I mean, there's not much really. I think I've got 120 quid in that old building society account, which currently earns about 3p a year. So I don't think that's going to be a big earner. Shares, chance would be a fine thing. Might be a few pennies down the back of the sofa. Do I have to include that too? It's hardly going to add up to much of an nest egg, though. I suppose it's possible we might have saved up by then. Trouble is, you have to make a calculation based on now. Doesn't look very much, does it? But leaving the house would be the main thing. Premium bonds. I think we did have some of those that Mum and Dad took out for me as a child. I've no idea what they're worth, where they are, or how you'd claim them anyway. I suppose we'll list them, and good luck to you lot to find out how to make use of them. There's also the other intangibles, aren't there? I mean, I do those surveys every day. I have done for the last few years. I mean, you collect points and they can be traded in for a number of prizes and vouchers, or you can put them in for the prize draws. They can have some quite good things in there, a laptop, a food mixer, a coffee maker. I think I'm about £240,000 worth of points. I always forget to go in for them after I've done the surveys. That might be a nice little surprise for someone. Do I share the points between them, or give to one and not the other, as I'd have to tell them how to get into the account? I suppose I have to leave a list of instructions here too. Probably wouldn't be too compos mentis enough to explain the details of these when I'm in my hospital bed. Then there's my lottery numbers. I've had the same ones for the last 12 years, and well, we've not had a big win yet, but there's always the next one. I mean, what would happen that 1 week we don't put them on? You've got to keep going in the hope, don't you? I think I've calculated that these beauties have given me about 340 quid over the years, so again, they'd be worth having. That'd be pay for a nice holiday away, and there's always the chance that the big win would be around the corner. That might have to be a trade-off between the survey points and the lottery numbers. Wonder how I can split them fairly. I mean, I can't give them 3 numbers each. You need the full set to be in with the chance. I might want to glimpse through some of my scribblings. I mean, beforehand, people would have had letters and they would have kept them, the ones that were written. But these days, it's all electronic, isn't it? I mean, it's probably not worth them having looked through my emails, as the only things in there are my complaint emails for late flights and deliveries or sending pictures through so I can post them elsewhere. But they're all of my jottings, my writings, my musings. There's a whole collection there, all the things I've started and tried to get published. What if that amounts to a treasure trove? It might be that they become really valuable when discovered and sent to a publisher posthumously. I need to make sure that they know my passwords and give directions about how to find things in my document folders. Gosh, I thought I was ready to do this. We'll get the main things down, and so there's something there, but it might be some of these things get swapped around over time. Will it come down to a final brain teaser or a puzzle to solve? Something like the Da Vinci Code or something. I don't want to be seen to be favouriting one over another. Should it be more arbitrary than that? Down to rock, paper, scissors? Guess it seemed more complicated than I first thought. Good job I'm starting to think about it now.